Sitting for hours trying to make sense of all this endless array of technology, the front end looks like a confusing maze. You go in with enthusiasm, open the list of technologies, and you feel like you're already late to the party. It seems like just now there was HTML, and then they are talking about React and other technologies that have a name more like the name of a spaceship. It's familiar, isn't it? I've been down this path too, and I am ready to share with you the sequence of the technologies I would learn if I were starting today. So let's start with HTML. This is the markup language with which almost every web project begins. With its help, you will determine the structure of the page, where you will have a header, where you will have a text, where you will have an image or a form. Without HTML, it's impossible to create any website, even if it will be as interactive and complex as possible. It is responsible for the basic markup, and it is the basis for the rest of the front-end work. HTML is learned quickly, it's not a programming language in its usual sense, and you will not need months to master it. Your task is to understand how the basic tags work, understand the structure of the document, and learn how to create simple pages. That will be enough to move on. When you are already confident in HTML, the next logical step is CSS. If HTML is responsible for the structure, CSS is responsible for the look and feel of your website. It's a style language that allows you to customize colors, fonts, indents, alignments, animations, and adaptability for different devices. Without CSS, any website looks like a bare skeleton, just text and blocks with no design. With CSS, you turn structure into a full-fledged design that's pleasing to see on the screen. Here it's important to understand the basic concepts: selectors, inheritance, cascading, positioning elements, and working with flexbox and grid. Also, don't be put off by media queries. They allow you to make your site adaptive and look good on mobile devices. Knowledge of CSS is the base without which you won't be able to move on to modern frameworks and style libraries. So give this stage enough time. Now that we have structure and style, it's time to add life to your page. JavaScript is a language that allows you to make your website interactive. It is with JavaScript that animations, drop-down lists, clickable buttons, and dynamic forms that respond to user actions come into existence. In addition, JavaScript is not just scripts for the browser. Full-fledged applications are built on it. You'll be able to connect third-party APIs, manage data, create adaptive interfaces, and even write the server-side with Node.js if you want to go even deeper. Get a handle on the base: variables, functions, conditions, loops. Then move on to working with DOM. That's how you manage elements on the page through code. Once you understand how to manipulate content on the page using JavaScript, you'll feel real progress. Your site will stop being just a pretty picture and start to live. Once you've mastered basic CSS, it's time to simplify your life and speed things up. Tailwind CSS is a utility CSS framework that lets you write styles directly into element classes. Instead of opening a separate CSS file and writing styles there, you just add classes to tags in HTML or JS6, and you'll see the result immediately. For example, instead of a long description in CSS, you just write background gray 80, text white, padding 4, rounded large, and your element looks like a complete block. Tailwind speeds the layout process many times over. This is especially noticeable on real projects when you need to quickly prototype an interface or, for example, adapt a page for different devices. Yes, classes may look cumbersome at first, but trust me, once you get used to it, you won't want to go back to regular CSS. Now that you have a confident base in HTML, CSS, and you have accelerated styling with Tailwind, it's time to move on to very heart of modern frontend: React. React is a library for creating user interfaces. Why is it so popular? It allows you to build an interface like a component builder. You make a button once and use it anywhere in the application without rewriting code. Moreover, React solves one of the main problems of frontend: state management. For example, when a user clicks a button, React itself keeps track of how the application should change and updates only the right part of the interface. This makes it incredibly fast and responsive. React is used to build real-world projects, from websites with millions of users to complex admin dashboards and interactive platforms. Once you master React, you discover a whole new level of possibilities in frontend. It's not just a library, it's a ticket to the world of professional development. Now let's take a look where the web turns into a real visual art form. That's Three.js. Three.js is a library for working with 3D graphics in browser. It allows you to create full 3D scenes on the page, add objects, lighting, textures, and even physics. It would seem that 3D on the web is complicated, but with the help of Three.js, you can surprise the user with animations, parallax effects, and even create entire interactive universes right in the browser. Even a basic knowledge of Three.js will already set you apart from other frontenders. After all, today's websites are not only about information, but also about the experience of interacting with it. Three.js adds a wow effect to your project and grabs attention. Learn the basics, how to add scene, camera, objects and light. From there you won't want to stop, the possibilities are almost endless. And to tie it all together and make your projects lively and dynamic, plug in Framer Motion. Framer Motion is a library for animation in React. It allows you to add smooth transitions, element appearance animations, scroll interactions, and even complex animation chains in just a few lines of code. Why it's important? Animations make the interface more intuitive. They tell the user where to look, create a sense of completion, and add to the fun of interacting with the site. With Framer Motion, your projects will start to feel like premium applications. It's the touch that turns a good website into an outstanding one. So the path in frontend is actually much clearer than it seems. Step by step, technology by technology, and you are no longer just confused about terms, but you are starting to build your projects with confidence. If you want to continue to learn together with me and get practical and clear breakdowns, subscribe to the channel. This way you won't miss any video and make your way to a confident developer a little shorter.